Amber is not the middle of nowhere, as we're often told. Where I grew up in Montana and Alaska was. I was a normal kid with normal family and normal parents and normal aspirations. I did know that I loved science. And I always assumed that I would do science of some description. I had no idea that I would be part of a group that discovered 70% of the universe that led to the Nobel Prize in 2011. And because of that Nobel Prize, I've had the opportunity to go out and do things that normal people simply don't. I get to meet some of the most remarkable people on the planet. And when you meet people, for example, Barack Obama, Bono, or Stephen Hawking, you realize something. They're not superhumans. They're people just like you and me. And you may not think I'm just like you, but I am. The reality is the great things that humanity does, that is done by humanity, is done by humans. And we're all humans. And when you talk to Stephen Hawking, you think he's superhuman? He's just a normal guy. You walk in and you see him surfing the internet with his rather cumbersome way of doing it. Humanity moves because humans do things. We're all humans, we all have a responsibility, and we all have the opportunity, one way or another, of doing these things. We all underestimate what we're capable of doing. And when I meet the remarkable people who have done remarkable things, it's not really that they are remarkable. It's just that they were given remarkable opportunities by happenstance, or by talent, or some combination of all those things. So, examples. Two physicists. We have Tim Berners-Lee, who developed the World Wide Web at CERN. We have John O'Sullivan, who invented Wi-Fi here in Australia. Both people working on abstract things that seem to have no relevance to modern society directly. And yet, they are two of the biggest and most important innovations in my lifetime. These people could be you. Because again, they're normal people. If you go through and look at one of the things that we all hold dear, an iPhone or something close, people have charted exactly what it took to be made. And it goes back, in this case, and I'm only going to show a little bit of it, back to hundreds upon hundreds of innovations, including John O'Sullivan's and Tim Berners-Lee. But it really goes back to, before the age of, the modern age, back to the Greeks. There's a place where not much happened. We call that the Dark Ages. We do not want to do that again. That's where you don't invest in science and art. But literally hundreds of people, and that's the way things work. You may or may not be the person who does the really big thing, but you will be part of the process of humanity moving forward. All right, so when humanity moves forward, funny things happen. For example, today I used my iPhone to order an Uber, and it was an Uber Black, so it was all legal. I don't have any legal issues there. And that's what we call disruptive technology. It's very efficient, it makes my life easier, got to where I needed to go quickly and easily. But if you're a taxi driver, this is a huge threat. But taxi drivers have a much bigger threat coming on. Why? Because companies like Google are using information technology to develop driverless cars. In the future, you're not going to be ordering a taxi with a driver from Uber or equivalent. You're going to be driving this thing, a robot, that's going to take you where you want. And that type of disruption is happening throughout a society in all ways, shapes, or forms. Recently, discussion of exactly how likely we are to lose our job was done. And here's a list of the probability that there's going to be significant job losses depending on what you do. And so there are certain things which look pretty safe. There are other things, for example, being a telemarketer, that doesn't look so good. It doesn't matter whether or not you are not on this list. There is going to be disruption over the next 50 years, no matter what happens. Why? Because that's how technology works. It's disruptive, it makes us more prosperous, but it also enforces change. And so we, as humans and as citizens, need to ensure ourselves against that change. For example, when I'm studying the universe, what am I doing? I'm going through and I'm using innovative technology like deep learning, which is a form of machine learning, artificial intelligence. And I'm training people. Some who work in astronomy, but many who work for companies around the world. This is the process by which humans are becoming more and more prosperous over time. But it does create those disruptions that make it very difficult to plan out and chart your future. So what's the solution for your future? Well, there's a reason I've decided to become the Vice Chancellor of the AAU. Because I know that education and research institutions are the engine for future human prosperity. But they're also the engine for training people how to ensure they're not replaced by a robot. Why? Because we don't just teach facts. We teach people how to learn. We teach people how to think. We teach people how to solve problems. And I want the ANU to be one of the best places in the world to do that. And along the way, it's not just getting your degree and stopping and thinking you know everything. You need to keep on learning. And so that's why, for example, investing in MOOCs, and for example, if you want to learn about astronomy, you can take an astrophysics course by myself and Paul Francis, 36 lectures, and it's all free. But you could also take courses from Harvard on computer science, from MIT on various entrepreneurships and everything in between. There's hundreds upon hundreds of really high quality courses. So the future for people is going to be learning continually. Starting off with a great learning experience, I hope, and then continual learning in the future. The future, when I was a kid, looked like this. This was the 23rd century. Now, me and all my friends did not want to be Captain Kirk. We wanted to be Mr. Spock, because we knew the future was Mr. Spock. And we were right, because I did not want to be someone working with a Motorola clamshell in the 23rd century that was already obsolete in the 21st. Thank you very much.